share this video with you, and this is about restoring the body, restoring the back, bringing your spinal column and body back into balance. And as you know, your body's under an enormous amount of pressure. So one of the ways we can alleviate pressure and stress and compression in the body is to lie down. And we're utilizing the forces of the earth, the gravity, our conscious intention, and the body's innate, amazing, repairing, healing mechanisms. So first of all, we come down, the way we come onto the floor is we're going to think of lengthening, because so often as we're sitting down or we go down, we pull down, so we're going to think of lengthening up through the torso, neck and head, and we're just going down onto one knee, and that is almost like a little lunge as well, but I'm really lengthening up through the spine, so I'm maintaining that poise and that balance. The head is poised and balanced relative to the spine. And then I'm going to come onto my knees, and make sure you come into about the middle of the mat or wherever you're going to lie down. Make sure the floor isn't too hard, or you don't want anything too soft like a bed. Preferably like a mat like this. If the mat's a bit hard, a blanket. Then I'm going to come onto my bottom, feet about 12 inches away from the heels, about 12 inches away from the buttocks. If they're too far out, the toes and the feet won't actually make proper contact. Then I'm going to use the hands to gently lower myself down, making sure you're not holding any muscles or you're not restricting and holding the breath, and a little bit of support underneath the head. You don't want the head tipping back, and you don't want the chin pressing into the windpipe or voice box. So there's like freedom and ease. You're bringing the head into alignment with the spine. So just make sure you settle in, then you can resist any temptation to fiddle or to itch or to twitch. And you may want to take a few deep breaths just to settle yourself in, allowing yourself to gently let go. You're going to think of detaching from all those people, all those things, all those problems, all those projects. It's like detaching from all those things where our energy goes out to. And you're coming back to your center, your deep intuitive place within you, your heart center, your spirit, your intuition, your deeper, higher creative self. Connecting with your body. And your body will love it when you stop and give it this quality, nourishing, healing time. So this isn't the constructive rest. The constructive rest is when you lie still for at least 10 to 15 minutes and do absolutely nothing. This is to accompany the constructive resting, which I showed on another video. So these are gentle, restorative, intelligent exercises to release compression, tension and stress in your body. So the first thing we do is gently roll the head from side to side, making sure that there's a good range of movement. It's almost like my ears listening to the ground. We hold so much tension in the shoulders, in the neck. So just ensuring that the head is really supported and released. And the head is an enormous weight, 5 kilos. The next thing we do is just gently float the arms up. And I'm going to initiate the movement from my fingers, my hands, my wrists, my elbow. Then what comes up last is my shoulders. So I'm not yanking the shoulders up. I'm just gently floating the arms above my head. And you may feel a little stretch in the shoulders. You may feel a little pull in the back, in the torso. If you feel any tightness, just breathe into that tightness. Just ride with the breath, flow with the breath, and breathe into wherever it feels tight. Our limbs are so not used to going above our heads. They're so used to being pulled down by our sides. So this just creates some mobility, some movement in the muscles, in the ribs, space in the body. Few deep breaths, then we're going to just float the arms gently up to heaven, up to the sky, and you're just going to just gently rotate the arms. And it's like your small little finger initiates the movement. That small finger goes into the ulna and the radius. Those two bones rotate over each other, those two bones in the forearm. And it's great if you've got lots of tension and compression, or if you build up lots of stress in your shoulders, your wrists, and most of us do. This really helps to just create some movement, some flow, some ease. You want to have that movement come right down into your shoulder blade, so you can feel that movement. And then we're just going to cross the arms over each other. Be careful the ears don't come up too, they don't shoot up towards the ears. So we're not doing that, just gently crossing the arms over and just walking the fingers around to your shoulder blades. So you're encouraging those shoulder blades to glide and slide away from each other. And then just remember what arm was on top, because we're just going to rotate the arms again. And we're just going to fold the arms the opposite way. So you're learning to give yourself self-compassion. This is like caring for yourself. It's like treating the body well and kindly. Giving ourselves that attention. Giving ourselves that affection, that appreciation, that acceptance, acknowledgement. So being very kind to the body. Then we're going to float the arms back up. And you can think of the heart center opening, the chest opening. We're just going to let the arms go. So we're making sure we're completely letting them go. And you can just really use the conscious mind, so the conscious intention to think of letting your entire body go. You're allowing your body to sink into the earth, and you're yielding to that support. The more you let yourself go, the more support you're going to receive from the earth. So you're imagining the entire core and surface of the earth is supporting you, sustaining you, and nourishing you, and you can just give yourself permission to sink and to surrender. And it's best to often have the hands facing upwards, so you're really open. It takes practice and patience to be just really open, to let go. We're constantly holding on, so you can just remind yourself, use that conscious intention, that wish, just to let go. Making sure you're breathing and the breath is flowing. And then I'm going to gently hug the knees in towards me in such a way that I'm not disturbing or tightening my neck muscles. I'm not moving the head. I'm just drawing the knees towards me, hugging the knees, and just gently rocking from side to side. So just creating some ease and some freedom and some space in the lower back. We're opening up all the discs that get compressed and squashed, extending all those extensor muscles in the back, and also widening those muscles, creating space in the joints. And then I can just draw some circular movements with the knees, and we're going to go both ways, so going one way then the other way. You may want to go for a little bit longer, but I'm just doing the demonstration. It can remind you to make this a daily practice. So you're learning to maintain, restore, rebalance, and rejuvenate the body. Recover the body from all the stress and strain that we place the body under, which does have an accumulative effect. And we do feel that accumulative effect of stress and compression and tension ends up manifesting as aches and pains in the body, illness, dis-ease. So what you're doing, the accumulative effect of lying down and restoring the body and being still, has a huge positive effect on the body and the mind and our spirit. So then we can just open the knees a little bit wider. So you're just drawing circles with the knees. You're not too tight in the shoulders, so you're not placing too much pressure in the shoulders. And it's really delicious for the hip joints. They're really natural, delicious, functional movements. The body loves smooth, perpetual movement. And then we're just going to gently cross the knees over each other So we're just a little bit of internal rotation. The hips get so locked and stuck in chairs when we're sitting, very little movement. Some of you may find this a little bit tight, so maybe you can just rest your foot or ankle on the thigh, or you can do just cross the knees over each other. Again, you may just want to cross the foot, the ankle over the thigh. You can even just place the hand under the knee, or it may be easier for you to go over the knee. So just introducing some movement into the hips. And then we're going to bring the feet together and just do a little bit of external rotation so the knees are falling out, the hip rotators are opening, so you can imagine your knees like an open book or like butterflies' wings, and we're not pushing them, just allowing the ground and the gravity to just open the hips. Again, breathing into the body, creating space. So the breath has so many secrets and magic. We want to be fueling the body. We want to think of the whole of the spine lengthening right from the base of the tailbone to the sit bones all the way up to the tip of the spine, and the head's a continuation of the spine. So we're thinking of restoring that integral length, that natural length, back into its full length and its full release. Then after you've been hanging out there for a minute or so, you can bring the feet back onto the floor, making sure the knees are floating up to the ceiling so they're not falling inwards. The tendency is as the mind wanders off, then the feet will fall off. We want to start training the feet to be grounded and connected to the earth. That's the architecture, the foundation for our architecture, our structure of the bodies, these amazing miracle of a machine, the body, is the feet. The feet is so important. So wiggle the toes, check in with the feet, notice where the weight's falling into the feet, and then and ideally the weight will be falling into the outside ridges, the inside ridges, falling into the heels and the balls of the feet pretty evenly. So what we're going to do now is just peel the pelvis up and do some pelvic tilts. Some of you, if you've got some of you need a bit more height, and to get a bit more leverage, you may want to take the support away. So when I press into the heel, I'm imagining each segment of the spine rolling up, and I can feel each vertebrae bone of the spine rolling up. There's 24, so you might even want to count 24 seconds. So you can imagine each one is rolling up through the spine. Each bone is peeling off the floor, off the earth. Very calming and soothing for the central nervous system. It boosts up the immune system. It has all the systems, the endocrine system, the lymphatic system, the circulatory system, the digestive system, all the systems working to harmonize and balance each other. And so many of our bodies are depleted and stressed, and all our systems are compromised. We get adrenal fatigue, we get muscle fatigue. So we want to think of all the systems balancing, and then once more we can just peel up the spine and roll up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra, gently pressing into the feet. Try not to clench the buttocks too much. Rolling right up. You can think of the collarbones open, heart center. You can think of the heart center like your favorite scented flower, opening and blossoming up to the sky, up to the light, and just releasing back down. And then we're going to just transition into a spinal twist. So it's a lovely natural spinal twist, and we just do this by just bringing the arms out to a 90-degree angle, the knees falling to the left, and the head can just gently turn to the right. You may want to bring the support back under the head, and what might give you a little bit more leverage and a little bit more twist through the spine is just placing the hands on the knees, And again, inviting that breath to come deeply into your abdominal muscles, deeply into the back of the ribs, remembering most of the lung tissues in the back of the ribs. You want to mobilize those muscles that get very tight in the back. You want to mobilize those ribs that get so locked that the thoracic region of the spine, those ribs get very little movement in the back. So you're just hanging out there for a bit, allowing the gravity to work with you in partnership with you, feeling that lovely turn through the spine. And you can see I'm just getting a little bit more turn in the upper body through the neck and the head. So it's a lovely gentle twist in the spine. And the spine loves these spiral movements. Nature's made up of spirals. Our body is made up of spirals. The muscles are made up of spirals. So again, I'm just reversing the twist so the knees fall to the right, the head turns towards the left. Always making sure you breathe. So if you feel any tightness in the spiral twist or in the pelvic tilt, you just breathe into that tightness. Obviously, if it feels painful, you just release out of it and come back to a neutral resting position on your back. Breathing and smiling, thinking of the care and love you're giving to your body. Your body is going to so appreciate you stopping and just harnessing the body's own intelligence. Then we're going to come back to center, and to finish off on the floor, we're just going to extend one leg so we get that full length of the body. That posterior chain of muscles can lengthen, and that you can feel there is that chain of muscles. It runs through the front as well, but primarily those chain of muscles from the base of the skull all the way through to the Achilles heel. We're just lengthening, and there's that deep muscle called the psoas muscle that's connected to the diaphragm. It's connected to the upper trunk of the body, way up to T1 and L5, and it attaches right down into the lower limb. So it attaches the lower limb to the upper trunk, connected to the breathing, it's connected to the fight and flight response, and we're contracting those muscles all the time. When we release them, it creates enormous space. It tells the body it can go into that rest and digest, where we get those healing chemicals such as dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins running through the body. They're all the healing chemicals, as opposed to the fight and flight, the stress ones, which are the leptin, the cortisol and the adrenaline. We're moving out of that fight, flight into the rest and digest. So we're moving into parasympathetic, where the body is resting and digesting, not into the sympathetic, which is the fight and flight, and that's what stresses the body, and too much of that makes the body ill. So this is so calming and resting for the body. And again, you're opening up that whole length through the body. You may even just want to push into the heel. I'm not sure I did it on the other one, but you may even want to flex the toe and just even maybe introduce some movement into the ankle. So you can just hang out there for about half a minute on each side. That really brings back that natural length to the body. Then we're just going to finish off by rolling to the ground, so a sequence whole movement. The whole of my spine is continuing to lengthen as I come up onto all fours, and you should see that my back is like a natural tabletop. It's not sagging or hammocking, it's not curving, there's a natural alignment through the spine. The head isn't dropping forward, it's not pulling back. My hands are spreading. This is really an opportunity to spread your hands like starfish, because your hands are always gripping, holding, pushing and pulling. The hands are in line with the knees are directly under the pelvis, the heel of my hands is directly under the shoulders, so it's like my hands and knees are on a train track. So they're aligned and balanced. We're just going to work into the hips, working both ways, and introduce that movement. We get so stuck and locked in the lower back and in the pelvis. So you're just thinking of rocking and rolling, smiling, working smoothly and dynamically and easily, no pressure, no stress. And then we're just going to suck in the belly, suck in the navel to
the lumbar region of the spine, the lower back, and you can maybe even draw up the pelvic diaphragm, the pelvic floor muscles. They're the muscles that stop you peeing. And you can see my head's just dropping to a lovely C curve. And then I'm going to reverse that and hammock the back. My hands are still spreading, the weight's dropping evenly through the heel of my hands, all the way through each finger. And you may want to do one or two more. And the body loves these undulating movements. If you have a back that's got lots of compression, tension, pain, this really creates mobility and really creates release and undoing of all that stress, compression and tension you place on the back. So resting in this child pose, it's very healing, humbling position, just to let go. And some of you may feel it a bit tight on the back of the ankles. You can put a cushion there, or maybe even on the knees. But just hanging out there for a bit. I often find the shoulders are a little bit more relaxed there. You may want to introduce a bit of a stretch there. And just hang out there. Think of anything you want to let go of. We get attached to all those people, those places, those projects, those problems. Just think of what you could let go of, giving it away to the earth. And then we can just gently come up. And again, before I come up, I think of that length, that integrity through my spine, neck and head. That's what we're always working towards. How can I maintain that presence, that poise, that expansion through the body? Creating that awareness, that expanded awareness. And before I come up, I just come, just as I started, back into that gentle lunge, and you may want to even reverse that. You don't have to do that. You can just come back and just brush one foot, the back foot forward towards the front, and you can just roll up. And if you're feeling flexible and you want to roll up from a squat, you can do that. You're just coming up into standing. Just show you that once more. So as you come up, the simple way of coming up is just onto one foot. If you feel that you need a bit of support, you can always place a little chair there and do the other foot, and you come up into full stature. So when you go out into the day, you're thinking of that poise, that presence, being grounded and connected to the earth, and trying to avoid the compression and stress of contemporary living. Thanks for watching, and I hope you practice.